This is Michael with Clearview Sewer Cams. We are located at 1264 Massachusetts Avenue, San Bernardino, California. We are running a video sewer inspection from the mainline sewer cleanout at the ADU, and it is heading right toward the house. It's going into the back of the house, the front house. So we're going to begin running through, and this is our 4-inch ABS plastic mainline sewer clean out right here that we're going to be running through. And now we're going to show the property going toward the front. That's going toward the driveway, and that's going toward the front house. We're going to set our camera right at the opening of the 4-inch ABS clean out and zero out our camera monitor so we get a good accurate reading. And we're going to begin pushing our camera. And we transition right away to vitreous clay. It's going to be kind of hard to see while we have the water running. What we're going to do is we're going to push out all the way. We're just going to keep pushing out. And then we'll shut the water down. We're going to try and reach the city sewer if we can from here. We're going to pause for one moment. We're going to locate this area real quick. Okay, we are running into the back of the house right now, the front house. And we're going to continue to push our camera out. And we are still in cast iron pipe and fittings. Now we're making a turn. We're in vitreous clay, excuse me. We're in vitreous clay pipe and fittings. We're going to continue to push out. Looks like we might have a little bit of a belly in the piping. We're going to push out to approximately 60 feet and try and locate our camera. We're going to pause right there where we have a little root intrusion. We're going to try and locate that area. So we're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we located this area. We pulled back just a tiny bit to try and get a bead on this and to locate the piping. And it is on the side of the main house. As you're facing the house from the street, it's over the fence on the neighbor's side of the yard just a little bit. We can't get a complete bead on it, but it appears to be about 2 feet on the other side of the fence, on the neighbor's side. So we're going to continue pushing out, and then I know it does come back in to the property toward the front of the main house, and we're going to locate that area. We're going to pause right here and mark this area out. Okay, we located this area toward the right front corner of the main house, and we marked this area at 1 foot 9 inches deep. It is in vitreous clay, and we just marked it to locate. The vitreous clay piping does go outside the fence just a little bit into the neighbor's yard, and then sweeps back in and starts to curve a little bit and is back on the property by a good 2 feet. So we're going to continue to push out now. Again, we're in water right now, so it's kind of hard to tell too much, but as long as this line is, we need to be in water. We need to have the water running to help us push all the way out. And then we'll shut down our water, and we'll pull our camera back, and then we'll take a good look at the line. Looks like there might have been some debris or some roots possibly, because we came out of the water for a minute. And it could be somewhat flat as well. We'll be able to tell a whole lot better when we come back. We got some roots right there on the right hand side. You can see the roots growing along the pipe. We're going to continue to run out, and we'll check all that on the way back. we have a pretty long run to the street. We're probably at somewhere around 140 feet to 150 feet all the way out to the city sewer. So we're just going to, and we have more roots there growing in. So again, we're going to continue to push out. Is that better?
Yeah.
We're just going to keep pushing out, try and attempt to get all the way out to the city sewer. And as I said, once we get all the way out, if we can reach the city sewer, we'll shut the water off, and then we will pull back slowly, and we'll view all the joints and view all the piping. We'll see if there's any breaks or see where the root intrusions are. We'll just keep going all the way out. Now we're transitioning, it looks like possibly to clay pipe, or to concrete piping, possibly. No, we're back in vitreous clay. It's difficult to tell sometimes, especially with the water running. We're just going to keep pushing out, and then we'll view it real well on the way back. We're going to go slow here. I believe that's our city sewer saddle connection. Keep going a little bit more. Easy. It's kind of hard. Right there. Stop. There's city sewer. Okay, we are into the city sewer. We're going to locate this area in the street, and we're just going to mark it with a small dot of pink paint. So we're going to pause for a moment. We were locating. Okay, we located this area out in the street. This is our city sewer tie-in connection. We marked it with a dot of pink paint, and we are at approximately 5 feet 1 inches deep. So we're going to begin pulling back slowly. We're going to take a look at this saddle fitting real quick. That's a very important fitting right at the tie-in. This is our saddle right here. And there is a joint behind us right there. Go in a little bit if you can. No, it's going to be hard. Right here, we have a little bit of an offset. Not terrible. We have an offset, but we don't have any breaks that we can see. We don't have any root intrusions in there. We do see the whole face of the pipe, though, right there. I'm going to try and pull back in a second a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. But seeing the entire face of the piping, eventually this area will need a top hat liner. It's a cured in place piping, CIPP top hat liner, which will cover this area. It will support the saddle to keep it from shifting further, because if it shifts further, then a lot of times you cannot put a top hat liner over it. You actually have to excavate in the street, and you have to replace that saddle fitting, and that gets very expensive. It's about 3 to 4 times more costly than putting a top hat liner in. So we're going to pull back slowly now. Right there, we can see at the bottom it's kind of lined up, and toward the top, then it's shifted. We're in a turn, so it's difficult to see it, but I can see the entire face at about the 12:30 area to 1 o'clock area. So we're going to continue pulling back slowly now. See what the next joint looks like. And that joint also has an offset in it. On the left-hand side, you can see most of the whole face of the piping again. It's shifted quite a bit. Where on the right-hand side of the piping, on the joint, you can't see any of the face of the pipe. So we've got some shifting going on right in here. And it may need a cured in place piping liner for some of it. We'll see what the rest of the piping looks like. Right now there's no major break in that joint. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. If we don't have a lot of breaks in the vitreous clay, then I wouldn't worry too much about some of the joints. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. I believe we have 4-foot sections. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We're going to pull back slowly right to the next joint, and then we'll just measure it from there back to see what the sections are. We're coming up on another joint here, right there, and got a little concrete slag on both sides of the piping, and we're at 149 feet. So we're going to pull back to the next joint very slowly. Got a little tiny offset at the top. Nothing to be concerned about. Right there is 146. So we have 3-foot sections of vitreous clay. And there's more concrete slag on the sides of the pipe. Won't harm anything. That's just when they put the piping together, the spigot part of the pipe goes into a bell and it's packed with concrete. So that's just over pour and it won't hurt anything. We're going to continue to pull back. Okay, now you have to go in very slowly. It appears there might be a break on this left-hand side. Yeah, there's a break right there in the vitreous clay, and a separation. So we're going to go in a little bit further, right to that joint. We're going to push in just a tiny bit, and we're going to locate this area and mark it. We're going to stop right there. Yeah, part of the face of that's broken off, and it's shifted right there. So we're going to mark this area. So we're going to pause, and we're going to locate this area. Okay, we've located this area, and we are approximately 1 foot out into the street, 1 foot out into the street from the curb. And we are at approximately 3 feet 2 inches deep. Now we're going to continue to pull back slowly, and we do have a break right there. So we're going to pull back slowly and take a look at the pipe. And looks like that may be a transition or it could be just a shift. It's very hard to tell, but you can see the piece of pipe that's broken at about the 8 to 9 o'clock area. So we're going to continue to pull back. Now we're in the parkway area. Coming back to another joint. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. Continue to pull back. We'll see if we have a 4 to 6 inch transition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Have a little concrete slag overpour, no problem with that. Now we're coming up, and take a good look at this joint. Pull back slowly. There's just a little concrete overpour, the slag right there in that joint. Again, no problem with that. Continue pulling back to the next joint. And that joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little bit of concrete slag right there on the left-hand side of the screen at about the 8 o'clock area. More concrete slag, but the joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. You're pulling up. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition with some concrete slag overpour. Again, no problem. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Should be coming back to a test tee more than likely. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Should be back on the property now. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. We're pulling back toward the front house now. Go out a little bit, go slow out. I want to see if there was a crack in the pipe right there. No, piping appears to be in fair and maintainable condition, and so does the joint. We just want to check it. You have some markings on the pipe, just staining and such. No problem with it. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Try to move that slow so you can get right near the joint.
Alright.
Right there. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. Continue pulling back toward the house. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. And so does the vitreous clay piping. We haven't seen any breaks in the piping except for in the street. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. We didn't see a test tee, which this is probably a very old sewer line and it may not have had a test tee in there. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint has a minor bit of root intrusion, small amount, maybe a tiny bit of offset, but nothing to be concerned about. That's still in fair and maintainable condition. Make it a little bit of a turn, a little curve. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little flat right there. It's holding a little bit of water because of the concrete slag, but nothing to be concerned about. Then continue to pull back. Everything appears to have drained out fairly well. That concrete slag will act as a dam and hold water back a little bit sometimes. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We don't see any major breaks, major separations, nothing major so far on the property. That joint push back out a little bit. I want to see that. Appears to just be a marking within the pipe. It looked like it may be cracked, but that's just a mark on the pipe. A little bit of an offset there. A little shift in the joint, but nothing terrible. Coming up, we have some root intrusion probably coming in the next joint from what we can see along the side of the pipe. And that's a fairly large root intrusion, not terrible, but that could be maintained by possibly hydrojetting once and then using Root X. We're going to stop right there and we're going to just put a flag there where we have a little bit of root. So we're going to pause.
Alrighty.
Okay, we located this area at 2 foot 7 inches deep, and we marked it with an orange flag as roots 2 foot 7 inches deep, and it is right next to a tree stump, an old tree stump. So the roots are coming in from there. We're going to continue pulling back. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Coming back toward the front house, the main house. Coming back toward the right front side of the main house. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition, maybe a little tiny bit of an offset, but nothing terrible. Still maintainable. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We would recommend putting a clean out, a two-way clean out system right at the front corner of the house where we put an orange flag. We have roots here as well, and that's coming back toward the right front corner of the house. Probably could use a hydrojetting one time and then use Root X as a maintenance, ROOTX. Flush it down the toilet once a year. Now we'll probably keep all these roots at bay. We're going to continue to pull back. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we have another root intrusion here. That's a fairly large root intrusion on two sides. We're going to mark this area. We're just going to pop it out just a tiny bit, and we're going to locate and mark this area. Okay, we marked this area at 1 foot 9 inches deep with an orange flag. Probably about 25 feet from the right front corner of the house going out toward the street. So we mark that with an orange flag, and we're going to continue to pull back. And we have another area marked out at about 60 feet. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. It appears that we have a section possibly of ABS plastic, it looks like. So we're going to pull back very slowly. Don't see a fitting yet. There may be a clean out here. Kind of hard to tell. Keep pulling back. Yeah, we're going to go in right there. We're going to push in a little bit. Going to pause right in there. Going to pause and see if we can locate a buried clean out. Okay, we located this area, and it was a buried mainline clean out, sewer clean out. We uncovered the cap, and we marked it with an orange flag. So we have a mainline clean out, which is good, so the line can be hydrojetted through there. So there's no need to put in a mainline sewer clean out in front. So we're going to continue to pull back. So we have ABS plastic piping here, and then we're probably going to transition back to vitreous clay again. Right there we do. And that joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. I'm going to continue to pull back. That joint's got a little separation in it. That's newer vitreous clay because you see the black band, the neoprene band in between a little bit. Still in fair and maintainable condition. It's holding back a little tiny bit of water because the joint's offset just a little tiny bit, but that should not pose a problem. Now we're making a little bit of a turn. We're holding back a little more water in here. Now we're completely underwater at 72 feet. If it's a short belly, it's not generally a big issue. We'll see how long this belly is. Okay, 72. Okay, we've got about a 3-foot belly. We have a major root intrusion right in front of it. So this would need to be hydrojetted and cleaned. And then again use Root X more than likely. We can't really see the joint because there is quite a bit of roots there. And it is holding back water. So we're going to continue to pull back, and that's right back behind the mainline sewer clean out. So we're going to continue to pull back now. And we have a major break there. So we're going to push in just a little bit. Right there. Right on that break. You can see the break right here. It's about maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch inside the face of the pipe. And we have root intrusion. So we're going to locate and mark this area. Okay, we located and marked this area 1 foot 7 inches deep. And the pipe is cracked all the way around and there is root intrusion. So that area will need to be repaired. About 10 feet out from the right front corner of the house, marked with an orange flag. We're going to continue to pull back. Now we either have a little flat spot in the piping where we're holding some water back a little bit. And you're going to pull back just a tiny bit more. We have little roots in that next joint. Can't see the complete joint because we're kind of underwater, but it looks like just roots from what we can see. So we're going to pull back. Could be cracked possibly, but we can't really see it real well. Next joint, go back in. We have another crack, another break right there. Yeah, pull back a little bit right there. We have a large crack all the way around this joint. So we're going to locate this area and mark it. Okay, we located this area approximately at the right front corner of the house, about 5 feet away from the house going toward the street. We marked it with an orange flag at 1 foot 9 inches deep. So that's broken and has root intrusion as well. Next joint, go back in slow. Next joint appears to have a crack as well. It could be a marking in the pipe. Pull back out just a little bit. It could be just a marking in the pipe right there. It's hard to tell. You got root intrusion covering part of it. But we're going to continue to pull back. We do have roots in that joint. Keep going back. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we're coming back alongside the right-hand side of the main house. As you're facing the street, it would be on the right-hand side. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. And continue pulling back. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. And as I said, when we're coming back along the right-hand side of the house, we do sweep into the neighbor's yard just for a short period. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We sweep into the neighbor's yard for just a short period and then come back out onto the property. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Well, at least it's on the other side of the fence. It still may be the owner's property of this property that we're running the sewer inspection for. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. The fence may be a little bit over onto this property. We can't tell for sure. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we're making a little bit of a turn. Coming back. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we're coming back up underneath the house. Underneath, it's an add-on. It's a wooden structure that has wood paneling on it. Right at the back of the main house. It looks like it was added on, but the vitreous clay is running underneath there. You have a little bit of an offset in that joint, not terrible. Pulling back toward our clean out now. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. A little bit of an offset, but not terrible. That joint has a little bit of an offset. Again, not terrible. Go back out.
Back out?
Yeah, right there. It looks like there's a crack. Pull back. Pull back now. Slow. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Okay, we have a crack. We have a large crack all the way around this pipe. We're going to pause and locate that area. Okay, this area is under that back structure. It's under the slab of the back structure, that small section of building with the wood paneling. It's not stuccoed. So we're going to continue pulling back now. We can't really get to that. That area is underneath the slab. We're going to continue pulling back now. And go back in. Go back out. Easy. Right there. We have another crack here. So we're going to take a look at this. Just try and locate this area real quick. Okay, we marked this area, or located this area. It's underneath that slab of the wood paneled section of building that's attached to the back of the main house. And that's another crack all the way around in the vitreous clay. So we're going to continue to Pull back now. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we're outside the wood paneled structure toward the clean out. Coming back toward our clean out now, and we have another large crack right there, another break. I'm going to pause and mark that area. Okay, we marked this area with an orange flag between the mainline sewer clean out and the wood paneled structure. We marked it with an orange flag at 1 foot 5 inches deep. We're going to continue to pull back. Another large crack all the way around the circumference of the piping. We have several of those. And we have another one here. Keep pulling back a little bit, see right there? You can see where the piping is separated on the right hand side by about the 2 o'clock area, 3 o'clock area. There's a large crack going up and around the piping. So we're going to just locate that area real quick. Okay, we located, marked this area that's broken and cracked. You can see where the piping's actually splitting and coming apart, where if you took your fingernail or something, rubbed it across it, it would catch. It's cracked and separating. So now we're going to continue pulling back toward the clean out. We're only a couple feet back toward the clean out. Next joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Then we transition to ABS plastic piping, and we're coming back and up and out of our mainline cleanout. Now we're going to shove the camera down the other cleanout, I believe going back toward the ADU. We're just going to take a quick look. There's 2 cleanouts here. This is going to be the cleanout on the right if you're looking at both the cleanouts from the backside. You're standing up against the backside of the main house, the chimney. So we're going to run out and we're going to run back toward the ADU now. It's actually going through the other clean out. Now we transition to cast iron pipe and fittings. So we're running up underneath the ADU. I'm just going to take a quick look. There's an inlet, more than likely from the toilet. We're going to continue to run back. Then we transition, we have some ABS plastic, probably a little remodeling going on, and that's the end of the line. That's as far as we can run. All the joints and all the piping appear to be in fair and maintainable condition. We're going to pull our camera out now, and that will conclude our video sewer inspection.